Founders Fake, Startup Supercharged.
What is the biggest mistake you personally have made with your go-to-market strategy?
Well, a biggest mistake is spending far too long working on the marketing strategy, working on the product, working on, a zillion other things like name cards, websites, you name it, working, branding materials, working on all these things instead of working on sales. Because you go to venture capitalists, they don't care if you have a name card. They don't care even if you have a website. They don't care about anything else. What they care about is, who is your customer and why do they love you? And are you able to grow this into a huge business? That's all they care about.
I love it because you're right. I could take money. You're the investor. You're going to be giving them money to go and hire somebody to build out that website and to build out the name card. They need to know that you got traction and that you have a product that actually solves a problem.
Absolutely, because they don't know. Honestly, they don't have time. They're getting pitched, every day by startups, and they can't delve deep enough. They literally don't have the bandwidth to go deep enough on your business to figure out if it's the next big thing. Yeah, sure. If you walk in the door and you're right in their sweet spot and they've already done all the homework, which some VCs have, and you pitch them exactly what they're waiting for, yes, at that point they'll take a risk on you because they've already in their mind made the decision. You're not making the decision for them. This is what entrepreneurs, you seldom sway a VC into making a decision. You usually, most of the closings of deals, venture capital, and that is sales, right? That is the biggest sale you'll probably make is closing your VC round, or any investor round. If the thing is, if you hit them on assumptions that they've already made. They already say, okay, this is going to be a big market. I'm waiting for the next startup that has the right team, the right product, the right everything to walk in the door, and you pitch it to them, even with no sales, you can get funded. But that seldom happens. So most of the time, they don't really understand your business that well, and the only thing they have to go by are the numbers.
So where do I start?
So selling. So let me tell you, if you are going to sell, so there's different types of sales. There's big strategic sales, and then there's small strategic sales, and then there's a lot of small sales that you can make, and then there's like consumer, like if you go out to consumer. We're going to focus on B2B, and I tell people who are in the B2B space, you can close. There's two ways to go, right? Venture capital. And I'm talking about an area I know. They love businesses that focus on, that have lots and lots of small sales. So because those are scalable businesses, you throw marketing dollars at them and they can go ballistic, right? Whether it's B2B or B2C, like lots and lots of small sales are very easy to predict. A lot of customers though, they're going after enterprise customers. And so let's talk about that. If you are going after enterprise customers, those are big strategic sales. And those sales are really tough to close, especially in the early stages where they don't know you. They don't know you. You don't have a large team. You don't have a brand. There's no reputation. They're probably or almost always using some other product or products or services to solve their problem. So whatever problem they're having, they're getting it solved through something else. You need to convince them to switch. And getting anybody to switch, as everybody knows, is really hard because people are embedded. They don't want to change. Nobody wants to change because they've already invested the time, the energy, everything else to do the things the way they're currently doing them, and adopting a new software package, adopting a new service to replace an existing one. Really tough sales. So the question is, how do you do it?
You're painting a very gloom picture there and unmotivating. So what's the secret sauce to overcoming this obstacle?
So I will tell you personally what I found. So if you're going to break through in a business, you're not going to break through by being the same as everybody else. You simply will not do it. And you never will convince somebody to switch by saying you have a lot of little things that make your product better. So those little
I got feature
incremental,
A, I've got feature B.
features don't get people to switch. Like if you came to me with anything and and I'm already using, editing software or email software or you name it, whatever product or service I'm using, it could be a service, and you start talking about all these little improvements you've made. I'm like, it's not worth it. Like, it's not worth it. Little improvements do not change the game. If all you have are little improvements, you're going to grow. You can grow. You can grow. You can find customers at the right time who are using some outdated product that are ready to move on or something like that. But you're not going to have a big breakthrough. A big breakthrough is where you literally capture people who are happy with their product. Like, they like what they're doing now. They have no intention of switching. But when they hear about what you're doing, they're like, oh my God, that would save me so much time. I would make so much more money. Whatever their goal is, perfectly aligns and delivers upon it. So if you don't have that, you're wasting your time. Like, that's the first of all. Secondly, you don't sell people on 100 ideas at once. Like, you don't go into them, or even 5 ideas, let's say. You don't say, we're better in this way and this way and this way and this way. That doesn't get people motivated. What you need to figure out, what's the one thing? And it's usually one thing. You'll be surprised. It's usually, what's the one thing we can do for you that's so valuable for your business that you will switch to our product, and you laser focus on the one thing. Yeah, you do a lot of other things better than the competitor. Anybody can say that, right? But if they don't really matter to your customer, it's not going to move the dial. So there has to be one thing that you come in that's their biggest headache there, and you're solving that. And they're like, okay, you do this one thing and everything else is at least as good as what I'm already doing. I'm on board. So as a salesperson, I always say, go in there selling one thing, one key thing. And that can't, like I say, be an incremental improvement. Like, it's not going to move the dial. It has to add a new layer of value. So creating value for your customer, a value that they simply aren't getting, and something that is valuable enough that it eclipses the inertia and pain of actually making that switch. And until you figure that out, like, you don't have to be the best salesperson in the world to sell, but you do have to convey to people what is it that you are giving them in the best way possible. So I say, don't worry about all the tricks you read in the sales books, and all the little ways of manipulating people and stuff like that. They work a little, but they aren't really going to make your business fly. Your business will fly when you are able to very concisely focus in and identify that thing that is of value to your customer, and then you make it the central part of your pitch. And your pitch doesn't have to be polished, because if this thing is really matters to your customer, they'll get it. Like, they'll get it right away. Like, you don't have to have the best PowerPoints, the best this. You don't have to, the flashiest videos. You don't need that. Of course, as you grow, you'll get all that stuff. But in the early stages, you can't even afford to make it, because a lot of times you don't even know. So sales, in the early stages of startup, sales and developing your product go hand in hand. There's no reason to develop a product you can't sell. Like, a lot of people think it's a great idea. Figure out that one thing early on, even before you build the product. And then you create this feedback loop where you are going out and selling the product as you're building it and getting feedback from your customers, getting it into their hands in a very crude form, because you will find, if you're solving their number one pain point, then they'll take your product in a half-baked way, because they will be like, I have a rule, the kiss of death for any salesperson is, oh, that would be nice. That would be nice. That's really nice. If they say your product is nice, it means it's a nice to have product. And nobody wants a nice to have product. They want a product, like, you can test your product even before you build it, especially if it's B2B, simply by going to customers very early on, getting those leads early on. Maybe Adam can set these up for you, getting these leads before you even build it. And then going to customers and saying, here's what we're building. You do a PowerPoint mock-up of it. You don't have to build the whole thing. And you say, are you interested? And they go, oh yeah, that's nice. Come back when it's ready. You're done. Your business is over. You might as well not build it, right? If they say, come back when it's ready, that's nice to have. What you need to hear from your customer, when you know you've solved that pain point, when you know you're adding what I call extreme value, what you need to hear is, oh my God, You can do this? You can do well, we're working on it. When can I get it? Can I get it now? Can I? Yeah, we'll get you a contract so you can be. I have to have this.
Yeah. They
You
don't even
you
ask the price. They're
no,
ready to sign.
they're ready to sign, and they if you get that reaction, they're willing to like say, okay, you can be one of the first 10 customers to get it, but you need to sign now and you need to give us an advance to reserve that slot. Otherwise, we're going with other people. Boom, you have a real business. It's worth building that product.
And I love, take the money right then and there. It's
Take
only
the money.
valuable if they're ready to pay and they do pay, not
Yeah,
say
because
yes, I will pay.
that's how you get confirmation, right? You get
Yeah.
confirmation because people put their money where their mouth is. I want the money. And then you can literally without I've seen startups do this without building any product, just getting those initial signed agreements. You can go to venture capital and raise your angel round or, from angel investors or even a seed round from an early stage venture firm. They'll write the check for those seed rounds to get you to build out that product because here you have 10 customers who are chomping at the bit to get it.
Yep. I think one of the reactions I've seen that's also really positive, if they're not jumping out of their seat, is sitting back and just dumbfounded. They're just sitting back and like, wow, like this changes. Like you could see the wheels in their head going, this changes everything.
Yeah, they
This is
don't
going
have
to
to.
be groundbreaking for me.
Exactly. What the ultimate test is their action. Are they willing to pre-order from you? Are they willing to sign some sort of agreement? Because nobody wants to do any paperwork, even if it's for no money, a letter of intent. Nobody wants to do that if they're not really interested. So getting them to make some effort on their part, uh, to get approval to do something, that's demonstration that you do have traction. And you need that for yourself more than you need it for the venture capitalists because they can throw all the money in the world they want at you and they have done this before and the startup still fails. If you aren't meeting an extreme market need, and I call it extreme because these are highly scalable big businesses that we're trying to build. If you aren't meeting an extreme market need, you don't have a business that's venture fundable. You may have a business that's a good lifestyle business, like a consulting business or even a small software business, but you're not gonna ever grow to be $1 billion company. And ultimately, I invest and I work with hundreds of VCs in Silicon Valley and around the world, and all of us, we every bet we place, we want to be on a company with the potential to be $1 billion company. Why would we place a bet investing our time and money in a company that can't get huge returns? Because we know it's just as risky to invest in a small business, them going out of business, as a potentially big business. So we're always going to choose the big business.
That's what we're here for. We're all here for success. We're all here to grow something big and make money along the way.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
so there's more that I can talk about, and that is how, in the early stages of sales, you should be less concerned with literally selling your product as figuring out as much about your customers as possible. And so that requires you to take off that sales cap. And this is why I say you don't have to be the best salesman. You're not a used car salesman, just moving product off the shelf, trying to get your commission. That isn't your goal. Your goal is as an entrepreneur is very different. It's to figure out the market, figure out what's inside your customer's head. You may think you are building a product they really need, and then you may go out and you may find early on that they kind of need it or they would like to have it, but they don't really need it. And so many entrepreneurs, because they've already invested their emotional heart in this direction, this idea that they've done, they may have invested money in building out the early version of it and time and all this stuff. They have a huge sunk cost. So they are very resistant, and myself included, everybody is this way. It's human nature, very resistant to admitting that they have wasted their time and money. And nobody wants to feel like they've wasted their time and money. So when people give them lukewarm feedback, they will interpret it, and you will interpret it as an entrepreneur. You'll find yourself doing this as much more positive than it really is. So you have to train yourself, and this is the key when you're going out in the early stages, to listen to your customer, and even equally important, to ask the right questions. If you aren't asking them the right questions, They won't. Um, you won't get the data you need to actually understand what they need. So it is far better for you to hear that they don't like your product than to put on blinders and keep charging ahead, hoping it'll work out. It never works out. Like, hope never makes anything work out. What it does is it keeps you going in the wrong direction. So hope keeps you traveling in a direction you shouldn't be traveling. What you don't need is hope. You need proof. Proof. Proof is what gets you. So what you need to do is, when you engage with customers at the earliest stage, you need to, and literally this never ends. You should be doing this even once you're mature, because the markets are always changing. Your customers' needs are always changing. There's always new, bigger opportunities out there that you have yet to discover. So what's really important for you to do is to probe deeply, to ask the customers, you're getting a lukewarm response, or not that crazy response where they're ready to sign something. You're not getting that. That means you're not on the right course. Well, use this opportunity to figure out what they really need. And you go deep. Like, are there areas where you're really suffering? Are there areas that, what you're doing just isn't working? You need to ask them these questions. What are the biggest problems you have right now with your business? What are you using certain tools or using certain related services that just aren't working for you as well as they could? And a lot of times the customers will tell you the pain they have. They will be very articulate on that. They will never tell you what to build, right? Because they're not designers. They're not, entrepreneurs. They won't tell you what to build directly. They will tell you what to build indirectly by telling you the pain they're having, things that are taking up a lot of time. Like, where do you spend most of your time in the day? What would you like not to do, like, during a day? Like, if you laid out your whole day, are there certain things you'd rather not do? Um, and you start to get information from each of these interviews. So these are less sales interviews. It's not about pushing your product. It's about figuring out a puzzle, the system that these people live in, and how you can improve and change that system. So you should have, when you go to a customer, it's never a one-way thing where you're trying to convince them of something. You should not be trying to convince them of anything. You should be letting either them convince you that what you have is exactly what they need, then you're on the right track, or figure out, let them convince you what they do need, and give them the opportunity to do that by opening up the discussion and really listening, really paying attention, and really probing. You should have a list of, like, at least 20 critical questions that you ask, and you should always be improving this list. I've given you a bunch right here. I've given you at least 10 questions to ask. Always be improving the list of which questions you should be asking every time you go in, and experiment. Try asking a question a different way. Try asking a slightly different question. How can you get them to open up? How can you get them to kind of reveal what's inside their head? And once you get into your customer's head and start seeing their business through their eyes, you will see the opportunities. And as soon as you see an opportunity that is really powerful, that's when you just ditch what you're doing and you refocus. And great startups do this all the time. They almost never start with the right idea. I write about this in my books. So I have 2 books that are directly relevant to this. One is Make Elephants Fly, which is all about the elephant is your big idea, your vision that you want to get off the ground. And it's an elephant. How is it going to fly? So it's the process of innovation. How do you get that elephant flying, right? That big idea off the ground. That's what I've been discussing, like this process of innovation with your customer. You don't innovate in a box. You don't innovate alone. You innovate through interacting with directly the people who are going to buy and use your products. Number 2 is Surviving a Startup, which is a lot of what I talked about, which is like, once you innovate, how do you get that product to market? How do you raise venture capital? How do you grow that business into a big business? How do entrepreneurs scale their business? How do they survive a startup? Which is, I've done it. It's crazy. And I've done it not just my own startups, but I've done it with hundreds of other entrepreneurs as I go through this process with them.
I think it's really amazing what you're saying, and it's so true. You don't have to be a good salesperson. You have to be a good active listener. And the listening and asking good questions is such a hard skill, especially nowadays, to grow. But as you're saying, to have those questions and really listen to what the prospect is telling you, or whoever you're talking to, listen to what they're telling you. It might not be word for word, but there's the meaning behind it that they're telling you about their pain, and diving in deeper into that. That's where the magic is.
That's exactly. And you have to train yourself. You're not going to be good at this. Like, I used to think sales was something entirely different than it is. And I thought I would never be good at it because I'm naturally like kind of an introverted, shy guy, even though I come across as very outgoing. You wouldn't know it, but that's my true nature. And so I thought, I'm not naturally suited to sales. But then I started to figure out, it isn't at all about just convincing somebody to do something they don't want to do, like buy a product they don't need. That's not sales at all. Sales is actually a really fun process of figuring something out and helping somebody solve their problems. And as soon as you take that mentality and that approach that, look, I'm not out there to sell you. I'm going to help you to figure out and solve your problems. And every day you're out there doing that, the customers will love you, and that's when the product starts to fly off the shelves. You don't have to do anything. You just have to really get in front of them, listen to them, figure out what they need. And if it's a fit, you help them. If it's not, you help them, direct them to the right people who can actually say, there is a product out there that can solve that problem. It's not ours, it's this other company's, and then you do a deal with the other company. You say, hey, I'm referring your customers to you. Can you do the same back to me? So you find the problems your customer has, and you make deals with the companies that provide the very best solutions that aren't direct competitors to you, and you refer them and they refer you, and then you get a whole new way to grow your business that didn't exist before.
I'm Captain Hoff, CEO of Founderspace, the leading global startup accelerator. I'm also author of the award-winning books Make Elephants Fly, Surviving a Startup, and The 5 Forces.